Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome to a brand new episode of our Let's Play for F1 Manager 2022 as we continue our worst to first run here with Williams Racing. It's going to be a little bit of a weird episode because I already recorded this episode. In fact, if I move my camera over, you'll see I'm talking really fast over there because I'm just going to breeze through this episode at double speed. I've already got it recorded. This is just the video. The audio messed up. And actually, as of this moment, I'm talking about the fact that I have a brand new computer and brand new recording computer, brand new gaming computer, and I've got most of the settings set up properly. They're just not all quite there yet. So, for example, one of the settings is that I didn't realize that the mic wasn't turned on, or some of the settings for the microphone got reverted because I actually did some recordings last night as of the time that I'm recording this. And everything was fine. And then when I restarted my computer, did some stuff today, some of those settings got reverted, unfortunately, for some strange reason. I don't know what it is. One thing I'm very kind of annoyed with this version of Windows. I'm on Windows 11. I don't like Windows 11. I've not had fun with this so far. Too many annoyances, too many things just irking me. But it is what it is. It came with a brand new computer. I'm going to see if I can get through it and work through it. But anyway. So microphone's not working. I'm just going to try and dub over this. As of right now, I'm going through looking at my equipment, making sure that I'm building my front wing, things like that, looking at the car parts development. I did just talk about the fact that in the last episode, we did finish first and second, which is awesome. We do have a few parts coming up here in a few days. They will be after the Miami Grand Prix, but coming up pretty quickly here. I'm also talking about the fact that I've decided that I'm going to continue to develop parts as long as we are not in first place on a specific part. But if we are in first place, I will try to do fit in some research from time to time. At some point, I will talk about the fact that if we do ever lose our first place spot to Red Bull, that probably means that Red Bull has just surpassed us and they're just gonna run away with it at that point. And at that point, I probably will just switch over completely to research. So bear with me as we go through that. Hopefully the double speed isn't too bothersome. I just can't bring myself to sit here and record an hour's worth of videos. So we're gonna go through this quickly. I will also have to be dubbing over the first half of the next episode because that's actually where I discovered that the audio settings are wrong. But there we go. So we're getting ready for the first race. Just setting up some qualifying positions, stuff like that here. I'm still being pretty conservative here, unfortunately. I'm actually not even saying that both drivers will finish in the top, I think 5 or 6 here because I'm holding into account the fact that somebody could crash, things like that. So I'm being very conservative here with the finishing targets, but it's not like we need the money, so we should be okay overall. Miami Gardens, United States, getting into this. We're going to go through the practice sessions here in a moment. We're going to go through the, all of the stuff, the qualifying, and then we're going to get to the race. The race is, we'll see. We'll get into it and we'll show you there. Obviously, we're still working with Oliver here alongside Jack Doohan. We definitely like Oliver. He's actually potentially going to be one of our best race drivers, period. Like, because he's younger and he's already as good, or he's actually already better than Theo in theory, and probably almost as good as Jack. And again, like I said, he's a couple years younger than Jack. So we'll see. I'm still fitting some weaker parts for practice. Going to continue that strategy to continue to see what that does for us. But other than that, we're not too stressed. I'm going to be very aggressive with building new parts this season because I want to make sure that we are as tip-top as we possibly can be for as long as we have a chance to get a really good result. Because we could finish this in this season. We are still in first place. I mean, it's still very early. We're only 4 races in. This is our 5th race. But we still could, end this season in first place potentially. So we're gonna hold on to it. And as long as we still have a chance, we'll play it out. If we ever get to a point where we lose that chance, then I'll make some adjustments and we'll continue to start preparing for next season, where I really think we have a chance next season. If we're this good this season, I would suspect we'd be even better next season, as long as we can still get in a decent amount of research. Hopefully the tipping point of when we lose that, if we do in fact end up losing that, will not be too late in the season for us to get some good research in. So I think as long as we're still within the first half of the season, we'll still be able to get a good chunk of research in. If we get past that halfway point, that's where I'm going to start getting really scared about our chances for next season and how we could slip up if we are not careful. So go ahead and get through the rest of these practices here. Still looking pretty good. I mean, it's practice, but I mean, it's always good to do decently well in practice with not great parts, right? Can't go wrong with that. My suspicion is that the AI is continuing to use their first sets of parts, so they're probably degrading pretty quickly, and eventually they will switch over to new parts. But for now, we probably will do pretty good against them until that time comes, and then they will get a big jump over us because we're spreading out our load across all our parts. Right, wrong, I don't know. Whereas they're probably holding on to a single part. I'm talking about the engines, the ERS, and the gearboxes. They're probably going to be focusing on those until they get to a really degraded point, and then they're going to jump back to another 100% part. So they're going to slowly get slower as we kind of stay kind of up here, and our slower is going to get a little bit slower as they go, but then eventually they're going to jump up, and we're going to be, they're going to pass us, and then there's going to be ebb and flow to this, and I don't know which strategy is actually better. We'll find out, but I am planning to be very aggressive with the engine builds. Literally, as soon as we hit 85% or just go below 85% going into a race, I plan to build new race engines or gearboxes. If it goes, I think 60% for the gearbox, whatever it may be, we will be a bit more aggressive with the gearboxes because we got plenty of money. It's really just the loss of positioning for a single race. But if we've got brand new engines, I think we can make up that loss in positioning pretty quickly. So I think we're okay with eating that. The other teams are going to do it anyway, so we might as well do it as well. I'm going to go ahead and get in here. There's 3 DRSs for this particular race. It's a pretty good race. One DRS is really long, one's very short, and the other one's a bit curvy, so it's a little bit awkward to get some passes during that one. But the compounds are pretty close to each other. Only half a second difference between the hards and the softs. So most likely we'll be trending towards harder compounds. We will see. In fact, I think we're just going to go the hard, medium compounds here just to make things overall just a bit easier for us, a little bit less strain on our tires. Because we know, especially Doohan, he does not have very good tire smoothness. Theo's a little bit better. He can make his tires last longer, but Doohan struggles quite a bit. So I think going with a harder compound in a racetrack that it will not be penalized too much is probably the right way to go. Just checking to see if there's a possibility of bumping up the pace and getting a little bit faster, just maintaining a longer or harder pace. Does not look like that will be the case, so we will keep it pretty balanced. We will, be aggressive where we can, but for the most part, be pretty balanced throughout the entire race as we continue. There's no rain for this race. Going to be nice. I mean, it's going to be a little bit cloudy throughout the, parts of the race, but no rain whatsoever, so that's good. A little bit of a different strategy for each one, just so we can kind of spread out the pit stops a tad. But other than that, effectively the same, kind of sets of compounds. 1 hard, two mediums. And we'll go ahead and get ready for this race. I did turn off the engine noise and stuff like that. Partly because it's not very loud either. I could have bumped it up in post, but going this fast, I was like, let's not mess with it. It's going to be a little bit weird. Making that high-pitched whine because I'm going so fast would be a little awkward. So hopefully I can just kind of keep talking through this without making this too boring, without any sort of audio here. I guess I could have put some music or something like that over it, but making some good moves early on here. We did start in third and fourth. Obviously, Doohan making some quick early moves here, getting into first place pretty quickly. Not too surprising, to be perfectly honest. Excuse me. Not surprising that he gets in first place just because we are pretty quick, but we do expect Red Bull to be just as quick as well. Hopefully Theo can get a good pass here in a moment, but I don't think that will be the case. We're going to stay pretty aggressive here. We're already 1 lap down. I'm still staying pretty high on the tires, keeping the fuel pumped pretty high. I'm also went deploy for a full half of an extra lap, more than I usually do. I usually stop at the first lap. I went 1.5 laps this time, just to really, really punch it, I believe, if I remember correctly. I actually wasn't paying attention just now, but I think that's what I did. Keeping the aggression on the tires, though, because we do have extra wear available on the tires because of our pit strategy, and also with the fuel. I'd like to burn off as much fuel as we can early on, get a little bit of a lead, and make our cars a little bit lighter as well. And then we can obviously go back to standard, which we just did, to kind of get that fuel back as we progress further. We did, first and second are starting to gap us a little bit here. Third and fourth all the way down to I guess, seventh are, I'm sorry, sixth are in their own little pack as well. I'm going to try and get a little bit of a harvest here just so we can get ready for, hopefully, either passing or defending this Verstappen character. But he does pass us there. Not too big of a worry because we are going to get DRS. It's going to be a lot of back and forth here between Doohan and Verstappen, as you would expect. Theo, though, still continuing to kind of fall back a bit, which is bringing the other Red Bull car back with us because he's right behind us. But overall, should be okay. We're going to do a little bit of a deploy here with Doohan to see if we can. We're going to try and stretch that gap to over a second to see if we can break the DRS with Verstappen. Really pushing it here, really trying. Unfortunately, we do get the fastest lap, as our pit crew or pit manager guy does say. He it was a stonking lap, I guess, but it does get to over a second briefly, but the DRS is just too frequent and just too powerful. Now here we are, we've finally broken it. We're going to get up to a second and a half. We're going to have to go back down to some sort of normal here, but we're not going to have full ERS anymore, and that is going to cost us, and Verstappen is going to start catching up with us slowly but surely, as you would expect, because they were in an extremely fast car. Now, Theo is way behind now at this point because Doohan obviously was going really fast. Verstappen was getting advantage of the DRS on Doohan's quick movement there, and both of them together really started gapping the rest of the field. At this point, we do try a deploy with Theo to see if he can break loose from the fourth place character there. Is that Leclerc? Is that his name? Fourth place. I do believe we eventually do get a break here, which right here we do. Right, going into this back long stretch, we're going to get about a second and a half ahead, just like Doohan did. But again, same thing. As soon as we start to kind of go back to a more of a normal pace, we do see Leclerc get slowly but surely back into that right behind us. So it really doesn't help us. At this point, I think I'm deciding that we are just not going to be able to do it through the racing itself. The DRS zones are just too frequent, too big, too powerful. We're going to have to just get any gaps we can get by just having a better pit crew, and that's the hope. We're just going to settle in for the rest of this bit here, I believe, here for a bit, and just wait till pit time and see if we can get any sort of gaps or changes in positioning at that point where we can start pushing our, if we do get a gap coming out of a pit, maybe we can push that a bit further, but it's just too hard for us to do it over the context of the race, because by the time we've drained enough ERS to gain the gap, our ERS is drained too much to be able to maintain the gap. So we are getting a harvest there on Doohan while he was behind Verstappen. Actually, it was a good time to get it done. Doing the same thing here with Thea. We don't care that Leclerc passes us because that's actually good for us. Gives us DRS again and allows us to get a good harvest coming up, because we want to get as much harvested as possible, knowing that we are going to be pitting both of these guys here. Well, Doohan pretty soon because he's already at 55%. Theo's got a little bit more time, but going in and getting that ERS built back up as much as possible is going to be good for us in kind of the long run here. So let's see, we're at 54%, 53% on Doohan. Once we hit 50%, I think, yeah, here we go. Pit window's about to start. We'll go ahead and breeze through this hopefully pretty quickly here. Theo's got his ERS back full, so we're going to be back into a more of a normal pace here with him. And Doohan's maintaining a lead over Verstappen for the moment, but again, we expect this to go back and forth for most of the race here. All right, so I'm trying to figure out what is that the yeah I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here for the pit stop coming up, I believe. Trying to determine how much I want to push it, trying to determine if I want to go past the pit window, because we do have quite a bit of tread left. I believe the final decision is that I will pit on time, because part of maintaining, oh, by the way, we just had a really bad moment there where Verstappen passes us and we just slow down to a dead stop. And then, I mean, maybe not literally stop, but he just skyrockets past us. And I believe we missed the DRS temporarily. And and he's just way ahead of us right here. It doesn't matter as much because we're about to pit. I don't care too much, but it was very unfortunate to see that kind of swing past us right there where we slowed down quite as much as we did. But we are going to pit on schedule because I think we're going to take advantage of the fact that we're going to have better tread than if we do push these all the way down to like that 30% mark where we sometimes pit before in the past. Excuse me, sorry. I've been doing a lot of talking. I've literally just recorded 4 episodes of this, and now I got to go back and dub over the first episode and a half again just to make sure I can get this out. This is actually going to get out tomorrow, or actually, I guess, well, it's after midnight now, so later today. Yeah, lots of recordings today, so maybe too much. Need to rest my voice here soon, but hopefully doing this in double speed will not stress it too much. But here comes our first pit. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was our pit. Oh, here it is. Here's our pit. We'll get our pit in here. If I remember right, this is actually... No, that was actually a pretty decent pit. 2.7 seconds, not terrible. We have seen it before down to 2.6 seconds mark, so it's not the best it could be, but at least it's in the 2 to 6, 2 to 7 range. At some point in one of these races, and I apologize if I'm spoiling too much, but I just can't remember. We do get like a really long pit. I won't go into detail. We'll see it when we see it. But 2.7 seconds. It's not great because again I've seen 2.6. But okay, so there we go. Actually, I'm actually going to turn my camera back over again. See this look at my face? I'm going to back it up 10 seconds. We're going to watch this again. Do you guys see what happens here? In fact, we're actually going to go ahead and slow it down to normal speed. Do you see what happens here? The look on the face. I was like, we're all dead. Like, we just blew through this guy. Everybody's dead. There's body parts. Like, I don't know what I was thinking at this point. But I was like, we crashed, right? We completely crashed. And I even like pause it for a second. I think here in a second. And I'm like, shocked. I'm absolutely shocked, right? And like, what's going on here, right? And best I could figure out is it was just a graphical glitch. It graphically showed us going through that car. Obviously, we didn't go through that car. There is another one in another race later on where we go through a wall temporarily. I don't know that I've ever noticed these type of graphical glitches before. It's weird. Hopefully, like, it's only the 2 times I've seen it. Like that time right there, and later on one of these other races where we go through the side of a wall, it looks like. I'm not sure if it's because we're going at a high speed of the video or something else is going on, but it was very strange. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cover up my face. The reason I'm covering up my face, not showing it, is because I don't want you guys to get confused of like hearing me talk and then seeing lips move over there. So we'll go ahead and cover this back up just so it's not confusing. But yeah, that was really weird. Really, really weird. But as you can see, I didn't cover this because I got distracted there for a minute. As you can see, Doohan, after pitting, is pretty far back. He's having to work through this field again. I don't like this. I hate having to work through fields like this, especially with Doohan, because he is aggressive, and that type of crash is not outside the realm of possibility for him. Seeing him go right through the back of somebody, we've seen it before. He's struggling. He's going to struggle to get through this field the way we need him to, right? He's really going to have to try and do some harvesting. He's trying to do some overtaking, try to do whatever he can here, kind of back and forth between different things to get past these guys. And he's going to struggle here for a bit as we try to work through here. We are going to get a pass here, I believe, in this DRS zone. No, we did give it right back. We're going to get it back here. We do get it back here, and we do, in fact, keep it at that point. So that was a good pass. 1 car down, several cars to go, though. I mean, there's a whole train here. From 14th all the way up to, I guess, 6th is a long, long train here that we're trying to work through. But every single one of these guys is getting DRS. Obviously, that time we didn't go through a car, but that's kind of what I think was happening is we're getting bottlenecked there on the corners and stacking up, and we're losing ground and stuff like that. It's just, it's not an enjoyable part of the race here as we really try to work through this. We know we have a faster car, but we got to find those openings where we can get past them. When they've got DRS, we got DRS. We're just not fast enough to get past them sometimes. But we are going to keep working through this. We are coming up on the pit window for Theo. He's got, on. He's started off on those hard, so he's going to be able to go pretty well here for a while. In fact, we've already got him set onto a more aggressive pace here because he does have quite a bit of tread left on those hard tires, and they obviously don't degrade by as much, even if they go below, certain percentage points. So Doohan's struggling to get, again, past this field here. Now, I think the only chance we end up having is when this field starts to pit. Let me go ahead and go back up to double speed, just because I don't want to talk through for an hour here. I think the only chance we really have of getting past this field is when they start pitting out here, which will be coming up here shortly, because a lot of those guys are in hards, so they'll last a little bit longer than Theo, because they usually just are softer on their tires than we are, but not by much. Here I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with Theo, if I'm going to go ahead and give him another lap or go ahead and pit this lap. I think, do I give him one more lap? We'll see here in a second. I do give him one more lap, it looks like, which is fine. And one extra lap with him is not a big deal. For the most part, we're going to stick with the strategy. I mean, that's the whole point of strategy, right? These are pit windows. We're not necessarily saying we're going to pit exactly on this, although there is a green, bar there that says this is the one we plan to pit on. But anywhere within this window still fits within our strategy. I'm still okay with the fact that we didn't pit Doohan earlier. We pit him right on schedule. We did get a pass there up to 13th place. That was a good pass. I think we are going to go ahead and schedule his pit here for Theo. We're going to go ahead and put him on harvest because we do want to make sure he's as close to 100%, if not at 100% on his ERS when he comes out, so we can go to a full deploy, try to get back into that, as close to that first place spot as possible. All right, so here's Theo in the pit lane. He did drop down to, well, I mean, he wasn't first as he went in. See if we can get a good pit here. .7. So another 2.7, unfortunately, does feel about 0.1 seconds slower than what we could do. And every 0.1 seconds matters, but we should be okay in the long run. Theo's going to come out here in, looks like 12th place, 13th place. So right behind Doohan. Still got some work to do between the two of them. That being said, like I said, a lot of these guys in front of us are going to be pitting over here in the next few laps. So we should be okay in the long run to get back up to the top. Obviously, we're draining our ERS pretty heavily for Doohan here. I mean, we're down to 4%. We got nothing left in the tank, basically. So we are going to do a harvest here in a minute. But we are back up in 6th place with him. A few pits, plus some aggression from him. Working out. Theo, obviously, down to 8th. Or back up to 8th, I should say. But there are several guys ahead of us that we know for sure are going to be pitting before we have to pit again. So we will presumably, hopefully, pass them at some point. Or at least get a lot closer. Here we are stuck behind Mercedes. Really struggling to get past the two of these cars because as they drive side by side, it does make it harder. In fact, I'm not even sure if I can't remember if we ever do actually pass one of these guys here or not. All right, so there we go. Almost got it past there. I think here comes our saving grace here in just a moment, if I remember correctly. Is that, well, I think one of them ends up pitting, which does make it a lot easier for us to pass the other one. Yep, there's one pit. And then we should be able to pass Mercedes here fairly easily once we can get some DRS or ERS back up. We're back up in the 90s, so we should be good here. Still doing some harvesting here because why not? This guy's going to pit soon. In fact, there he goes. Really no need to pass him. We might as well milk his DRS for as much as we can to build our ERS back up. Now we're going to do a full deploy here. Wide open field or wide open track. We're going to full deploy everything we've got here to try and get as much space as possible, knowing that Red Bull is going to come chasing us down. Now, unfortunately, 3rd place Red Bull is already right back on our tail after their pit stop and everything. They're right there. So again, we've already seen this before. Full deploy is just not fast enough to break that chain enough to put a gap between us and them. They're just too fast, too good on this track. And so, unfortunately, we do put some space between us and maybe some of the guys maybe down in, 6th and below. So 6th place Red Bull maybe, but 3rd, 4th, 5th are just right on our tail. They're just staying close. Too many good DRS zones on this track to make any sort of gains, unfortunately. But we're first and second right now. Feeling pretty good about things. We do have another pit stop for both of us. I do believe a lot of the other guys are on hards. And in fact, I think that's what I'm talking about right now as I'm looking at the tires. A lot of the guys on hards, I'm expecting will not be pitting again. I'm expecting that they will run the rest of the race on those hards. I can't remember if that's actually what they do. We'll find out together. But I am talking about that at that moment, expecting that that's the plan. And that the only guys that will be pitting 2 times just like us will be the guys that have pit in for mediums at this point in time. So a little bit of a, because this is a track that we could have technically barely squeezed out, I think, a hard medium, but I just didn't feel like it was worthwhile. And it was not predicted to be the fastest strategy. So we did go with the double pit on this one. But here we are again, just kind of racing through as best as possible. The rest of the field is staying right on our, well, I say rest of the field. The rest of this front, group is staying right on our tail. We are, keeping a gap between 5th and 6th, which is good because obviously that other Red Bull car is the critical car here. That's the one that we have to be worried about the most because the least points the Red Bull gets, the better for us and the best chance we have of getting first place this season. Although he is starting to gain a little bit of ground. We had 4.5 second gap between 5th and 6th. Now it's down to just under 4 seconds. So he is a very good driver, very quick, and he is starting to gain some ground here. Should be coming up on a pit stop here for Doohan here very, very soon. He's running a good race, doing a good job. Here's a pass by Theo, which we don't mind. Theo is the first place driver overall right now. So if Theo does end up winning this race, we would be fine with that. In fact, it was between Doohan and Theo. I would I would want Theo to get the lead. I would not completely gimp Doohan's race just to let that happen. So for example, if Doohan is 3 seconds ahead going in the last, couple laps, I'm not going to slow Doohan down just to let Theo catch up and pass him. Doohan wins that race outright. He's fair and square. But if they're neck and neck like this right here, then ultimately it's better for us if I let Theo take that lead, maintain that lead, whatever we got to do, because we want the points to stack on one driver as much as possible so that we can win both those championships. Both of them coming up on some pits here, about a lap apart on them. Going a bit more aggressive with Doohan here since we know his pit is coming up. I was starting to see what I thought was a little bit of water spray on the front of the windshield here. So I was checking to make sure there wasn't any rain coming or anything like that. Obviously there is not, but maybe that's not water. Maybe it just looks like it, but that's what I was thinking that was. There's Theo getting past us again. No big deal. We are going to go ahead and be pitting here soon. I'm going to go ahead and full on attack here just because. We're also going to go harvest though. Make sure that we're at a full 100% coming out of the pit lane. We do want to bump Theo up here to more of an aggressive stance. He does have a lot of extra fuel, so we're going to be able to go very heavy on his fuel coming out of his pit here in another lap. So we are going to lose some ground here on the other racers because of the strategy to pit twice. Again, not everybody, if I remember correctly, is going to pit twice. But we're going to come out on better tires. We're going to come out on some very fresh mediums to their somewhat worn out hards. And 2.8 seconds, not a good pit at all. Really, really bad pit compared to the other ones. Hoping at this point that it does not cost us. Theo still in first place. Still got fastest lap. Here comes Doohan back in the back of the pack again. Having to work his way through this. Messed up. I'm actually nervous this entire time. If I don't talk about, I think I mentioned it at some point. This position right here with Doohan behind a whole bunch of cars makes me very nervous because he's an aggressive driver. He likes to be right on their tail. and that's prone to causing accidents, causing things like that. And so it makes me a lot of nervous, you know, and it's really hard also for me to pass these guys. When they're all getting DRS together, it makes it extremely hard to pass them. I could pass any individual car just about, except for probably Red Bull. I could pass any other individual car with no problem whatsoever. But all these chains of DRS cars, it just makes it really challenging. We had 2.7 pit there for Theo. Not the worst, but again, we have seen 2.6s before, so also not the best. We're going to get a full deploy here from Theo. He's just ahead of Duhan. So hopefully he can get some passes on these cars. But again, we're both getting held up by these cars right now. We are faster than this group, just not fast enough to pass the group right now, which does mean that we are being slowed down from what our pace could be. Theo's getting some good passing here, though. Good stuff from him. Really, really enjoying seeing that. He's up to 7th. See if he can pass Russell here in a moment. Really trying to get past the Ferrari car here with Duhan as well. Every lap we're behind these cars really, really hurts for trying to catch Red Bull. That's the one. That's all we care about. We all care about Red Bull right now. All these other cars are just, it doesn't matter that much. Even if they pass us and get more points than us at any given point in time, that's okay. As long as we're ahead of Red Bull, we should be able to stay in first place in the for the season going overall. And unless obviously all of a sudden Alpine or, you know, Mercedes or something like that really started getting lots of first place finishes. But the thing with them is they have a really good driver and a really bad driver, right? Like they're getting points with one of their drivers. The other driver's not really getting much, if any, points. Now, a couple guys just pit off. That really helps us out a lot. Because as of right now, we have one car right in front of us. We're going to be able to pass him pretty easily. Because like I said, give me one car, I can pass them all day long. No problem at all. We are a faster vehicle, even without DRS. Give us DRS, and it's just not even possible for them to hold us off. So Theo's ahead now. He's 15 seconds behind right now. 15 seconds. But he's starting to close the gap a little bit slowly but surely. Will he close it back all the way? I don't know. If we have time or not, I don't know. We'll see. But we are slowly but surely closing this gap. Now, Duhan is right behind Russell. We do need to get him past Russell because he is being slowed down by Russell. Like I said, we are a faster car, just maybe not fast enough to pass in some of these situations. So we'll see if we can get a pass here in just a moment. We did a little bit of, we actually passed him right there while harvesting, which is really good. Now, I would have probably liked to stay behind him a little bit longer to get a full harvest, but that's okay. We got past him. Now we got open air. We can go ahead and get things going. We are 4.3 seconds behind Theo. Are we going to be able to catch up with Theo? Probably not. Theo's a really good driver right now. But if we can stay 4 to 5 seconds behind Theo, as Theo gains on 1 and 2 places, then we should be gaining on them as well. Maybe too little too late. I don't know. We got, 13 laps left as of right now? 12 laps now left as we cross the line here. 10 seconds left, 10.4 seconds behind right now. Can we get it under 10? There's under 10 briefly. Can we get it back under 10 from Theo? Theo, come on, buddy. Gets it under 10 there. So good stuff there. Can we get it under 9? So we got, 10 laps left. Can we get it under, no, actually 11 laps left. Can we get it under 9? 11 laps left as we cross the line now is what I should be saying. And we are under 9 as of this point in time. So we are gaining with Theo very quickly. Now, Duhan is staying in that 4.5 to 5 second behind Theo, which means he's not gaining, to get back, caught back up with him, which does lead me to believe I don't think he's going to be able to catch up with first and second place, but he's going to be able to maintain 4th, I believe, because he's holding off Russell. And as Theo gains and Duhan keeps that gap, then hopefully we do have at least a small chance to catch up with him. But Theo is just driving like crazy right now. He's already got it under 7 seconds with several laps left to go right now. In fact, as we cross the line here, we've got, 8 laps left? It's 9 laps left. I always forget to count the lap we're actually on. 9 laps left, and we're under 6 seconds. We are just driving super fast. I mean, look at this. Look at this. We are a full second faster. More than a second faster than first and second place per lap right now. We are going super fast. I believe Duhan's only 0.8 seconds faster per lap. Theo's a little bit over a second faster per lap. That's why he's gaining so fast. Duhan is still also gaining, just not maybe quite fast enough. It's getting exciting though. We are gaining, we're gaining. We're under 4 seconds left. Still several laps to go. Now the problem is going to be that when we do pass these guys, we are going to give both of them DRS on us, which will speed them up and make it even harder for Doohan to catch up with them, unfortunately. But I have no doubt that Theo at this point is going to pass them. He's the faster car. He's just setting a better pace. He will get past these guys. I just don't know if he's going to be fast enough to break DRS as we've seen before. We're about to get within DRS of these guys. 1.3 seconds, 1.0 seconds, 0.9. There we are. We are now officially within DRS. We didn't get DRS on that one, but we will get DRS on the bottom, little kind of curvy part here at the bottom here in just a second, which should set us up nicely to get a good pass on the long straightaway here in just a moment. There's DRS there. They do try to cut us off a little bit. We don't quite get past them there. There's a pass right there. Get past Alpine. Now it's just Verstappen ahead of us. Can we get past Verstappen? We got, what, 5 laps left to go? We should be able to get past him. We are a faster car. We're setting a faster pace, like by a lot. Doohan now at this point, again, he's still 4+ seconds behind us, but he's also gained 13 seconds on these guys from when we came out of the pit, right? So he has gained a significant amount of time. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of race left. He's gaining. He's gaining. He's trying to get closer, Not a lot of race left for him to catch up and pass third place. Theo, I'm not too worried about. He should be able to maintain first place from this point forward. Even with DRSs, I don't expect that they can catch him. He's even burning fuel faster because he had a lot of extra spare fuel. We're just trying to see what we can do here, but I'm just settling in. We're going to try and maintain first place, not go crazy here, do what we can do. We've only got a couple laps left here. Doohan, can you get it under 4 seconds? Doohan does get it under 4 seconds right there. We have 2 laps left as of this moment in time. Doohan's got it under 4 seconds. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Doohan had it under 4 seconds. Temporarily, Red Bull does pass him. But together we're about to be under 3 seconds to third place. Last lap. Can we get past? So the fact that fourth Red Bull passes is obviously not great. We are still gaining on third. Can we get past fourth now? I don't know. I don't know if we've got enough left or not. We're trying to get enough. We're trying to do a full deploy here with Doohan. Do everything we've got. We're watching the fuel like a hawk because we don't want to run out of fuel, obviously. But we're pushing the tires as much as we can. We're doing full deploy. Can we get past him? We've only got a couple more turns left to go. We're about to get a straightaway here. He's going to run away with it. He's a big problem here. And the big problem here, and I didn't even talk about it, is because Red Bull caught up with Alpine and got DRS himself, we did not get a slingshot past him. Had we gotten the slingshot past him before he got the DRS, then I think we could have passed both him and Alpine. But because he caught up with Alpine, got the DRS, we just couldn't catch up with both of them. We got in 5th place. But first place, 5th place, not a bad way to finish this episode. Obviously, first place and 5th place is more points than 2nd and 4th. First place is just a significant amount of points. Plus, we got the fastest lap. So we are still gaining ground on Red Bull with this race. Not as much as we would have liked. Not as much as we could have had things gotten slightly better. Maybe a half lap more, half lap earlier aggression. I don't know. We got slingshot past Red Bull there. Gotten maybe up to 3rd place. That would have been amazing. Didn't happen. That's okay. We did get quite a few points and continue to stretch our first place lead, both with the driver as well as the Constructors' Cup as well. We did get our underfloor designed there. Underfloor, getting a new underfloor is going to help us a lot as well to continue to get our stuff better. And that is the end of the episode. Oh, hopefully I breezed through that okay. 39-minute episode. Took an hour and 12 minutes down to 39 minutes. But there we go. Good episode. Good run. I apologize for having to do the dub over. Hopefully that's not too distracting, too weird. Hopefully the speed wasn't too crazy for people trying to watch it. But we did run a really, really good race. We're still in 1st place with Jack at the moment as a driver. Theo was in 2nd place. Actually, I forgot they were 1st and 2nd. I was thinking Theo was ahead. Whatever. It's okay. One of them's ahead. Obviously, we're in 1st and 2nd. And of course, we are 28 points ahead of Red Bull as drivers. We got 11 days until the next race, Miami International, which is actually one of my favorite tracks. I actually like that one a lot on this one. And I think we're pretty good for that. We should be pretty good setup. Like I said, we just got the new underfloor. See if we can get that one developed and designed quickly enough before the next race. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you. And I hope you join me again next time. Thank you and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.